Hello and welcome to Kirsty Knits and Sews. My name is Kirsty and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about all the things that I've been making. Knitting, sewing, crocheting, scouring wool, all the things. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Kirsty Knits and Sews, and yeah, it's been a while since I last joined you and chatted with you about what I've been making. It's been a very busy few months and I've been taking some time off and I'm ready to come back and share with you what I've done. But that does mean that this will be quite a lengthy episode, if judging by the amount of piles of things around me that I have. So as always, if you need to pause it and go away, come back another time, do that. But I hope you have a cuppa or your drink, maybe something to work on, whether that's housework, laundry, knitting, sewing, spinning, whatever that may be. Or this morning, like I did, I just sat and cuddled a child who needed cuddles while I watched some podcasts. Whatever it is that you're doing or where you're at, thank you so much for joining me. Whether this is your first time or you're returning, it is good to see you. So let's jump in. Now, I do have a kind of thing of what I'm going to go through, but as I was gathering things today, I realized that I have even more than what I realized when I was preparing this yesterday. So we're just going to go with it. Maybe a little bit back and forward. I'm not going to kind of knit, group all the knitting together and all the crochet and all the whatever else. It will just be as it comes up. And with that in mind, I'm actually going to start with a cross stitch. Now this is unusual. If you're new here, I don't do much cross stitch, but I made this. This is a Dimensions Gold pattern. I think it's called the Woodland Fairy or the Winter Woodland Fairy or something. This is a cross-stitch kit that I bought at, I'm pretty sure it was Michael's in America in 2008, 15 years ago. 15 years ago. I bought it. I was living in America for a couple of years. I wanted something to kind of work on. I didn't have a machine or anything like that. So it was all hand piecing, hand sewing, and I really liked the picture. It was also the first time that I'd lived in a place with snow, which was exciting. And I've just realized the air conditioner is on and it's going to be making noise. So hang on. I'm back. Hopefully that will stop in a second. I don't know if it's going to annoy you, but it will annoy me. Yeah, so it was the first time I'd lived with snow. So I loved the idea of having a cross stitch that kind of commemorated the snow. Anyway, I started doing it. I did a lot. When I went to leave America, I tried to finish it really quickly to give to a friend, and I didn't get it done. Moved back to Australia, put it in a box. 2 years later, went back to America and was like, oh, maybe I could give it to my friend now. Worked really hard on finishing it, didn't finish it, put it back in a box. Oh my goodness. Years later, I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous, just finish it. And I actually finished all of the cross stitch and the tapestry, the half cross stitch pieces, but I got caught on the back stitch. And then I one day was like, I'm just going to push through, and I finished the back stitch. And then would you believe it, I got caught on the couching. Now, I don't do many cross stitch. Before this one, the biggest one I'd done was about this big, maybe even smaller. It's not one of my main things. And so couching is something I had never done before. So if you're in that same boat, couching is, here we go. All these gold bits here, these are couched. And what that means is you have one piece of thread going across the top, and then you use, or like a 2 or 3 together, and then you have a single thread that you're then like just kind of looping over it to hold it in place. And that's how you get some of these beautiful curves and more organic lines. Now, looks stunning. Like this whole cape looked much less fantastic before I did the couching, but it took some time. So I'd started doing couching a couple of times and just kept stopping. And then I was thinking in September, October started Whips Be Gone, which is hosted by, I'm gonna forget her name. I don't know if I have it nearby. Jen? Whipsby Gone. WIPSBGONE 2023 is the hashtag. Go check it out. It's actually really fun to see progress that people make. But that's from the 1st of October to the 30th of November to basically try and get as many whips as you can out of your house, out of your hair, before Advent knitting starts, before Christmas gift knitting ramps up, and before the new year. So I've done it a few times, was thinking about it again this year, and have been kind of doing it, but this was one that I really, really wanted to finish. And so I pulled it out and I did those last bits of couching. I did all of these beautiful French knots, which I now love. When I started doing this, I found them daunting, but now I love them. And there are some beads over here as well. Yeah, so all of these little bits, they're glass clear beads with some back stitching outlining them. So I put the beads on. Altogether, it actually wasn't that much work. I think I knocked it out in 2 days of doing a few other things as well. So yeah, it's done. Not sure what else to say about this. I do have the sequel. There is a Autumn Woodlands Fairy one, which is, it looks like the same girl but in an autumn scene. It is at home. I will start it, but I think I'm going to give myself a break from such a big project just for a little bit. Alright, the next thing that I finished, which one did I finish first? The next one that I actually finished on a plane. So again, if you're new here, you may not know, but if you're a returning viewer, you may have recognized this is not my normal place. I am on holidays at the moment. I'm actually on a bit of a trip. Our house is being taken care of and our dog is being taken care of by some wonderful friends, so we're not worried at all on that front. But yeah, we are visiting some family in Australia, and so this is my parent-in-law's house and we're staying with them for a while, and it's been really lovely for us and the kids. But I will talk about that a little bit more later on, in all probability. Anyway, we had a pretty long plane ride to get here, and I managed to finish my tiptoe through the tulip socks. Now, one thing I did not bring with me on this holiday is my sock blockers, so I don't have them. But let me see if I can do this. I don't know if this is a terrible idea or not, but let me give it a go. I'm just going to put one of my socks on. Ta-da! I don't know if that's any better, but at least you can see the colour work a bit upside down. Anyway, the pattern is by, this is why I need my notes, guys. Tiptoe Through the Tulips by, I have it in a book. Gosh, I am blanking on everything. It is Charming Colourwork Socks by Stone Knits. That's the one. I really, really love the book. I don't have it with me to show you, but this is the pair of socks that is on the cover. I have used Fibre Lily Azurius for the main colour. The contrast bright green is one that my son and I dyed together. And then the tulip flowers are a pastel mini set by NNK Yarns. I absolutely love it. I'm pretty sure I did it exactly as the pattern says. This sock was finished before I got on the plane and all the ends wound in. This one I finished on the plane and therefore have not gone back to wind in my ends. Yeah. However, I learnt from this one, when I did it, I broke every colour as I went through except for the main. For the second one, I actually carried the green for the leaves down as well, because I realised that actually, like from here to here is not a long gap. It's much the same as from flower to flower, which I carried the whole way. And so this one, I only have 2 ends per flower, and for the checker bit at the top and bottom to wind in, which isn't too bad. So I'll go back and do that. Yeah. I am very much you finish a project, you sew in all the ends as you kitchen or the toe person. Get it out of the way, it's done, it's part of the finishing of the sock. And I try and have a pair of snips in every one of my project bags for that purpose. This one I finished on a plane, it was dark, I didn't want to turn my light on and wake up my kids. And so I just was like, I'll put them away. And guess what? A month later, I still haven't done it. Anyway, so I will get to that. But that will move me on to the next pair, which is another pair I worked on the plane. Now these do not match perfectly. They are a little bit out of sync, but I don't think it's a problem. And the person I'm gifting them to will not care either. This is Lang Super Socks, 4-ply colour. This is one that does indeed have nylon. I spoke a while ago about I had some Lang Super Socks natural yarn, and I cast on for a pair of socks and then realised it had no nylon in it. And that's not going to work for me because then you get holes really, really quick. So I threw it away. No, I didn't throw it away. I frogged it. I'm going to use it for something else. But every other pair, ball of Lang socks that I have found, I have checked to see if it has nylon. These do have nylon. They work for socks. They're really fun. This is Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. It's got a heel flap and gusset. This is my go-to for myself as well as for other people. It's not my favourite for myself, to be honest, but it's the pattern that I'm most comfortable knitting. But for all of the people that I knit for who have high arches, they love it. I have a high arch, but I also have a very thin foot. So, I don't know. I haven't figured out the perfect fit for me. But for the people I knit for, I never have any complaints. And what else do you want to know? They are size medium, 64 stitches. And I did these on 2.25mm needles. I tend to do 2.5mm needles. But I decided to go down for this one, and I'm really loving the fabric. I then went on to another pair with 2.25s, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should go back up to 2.5. So, I mean, obviously yarn makes a difference, but I'm not going to gauge swatch every sock I make. So I just go with it. And these ones I also finished on the plane, and therefore the ends are sewn in, but they're not cut because I didn't have scissors because I was on a plane. And do you think I will have just picked up some scissors and cut them? No, they have sat on my bedside table since we got to this house 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and are just waiting for me to cut them and put them in the gift basket. I will do it one day, not today. Now I don't have tea today. I have Pepsi, not sponsored. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but I really wanted to share with you guys what I've been doing. And so I just needed a bit of caffeine. Okay, now, the other thing that I have finished, which I do not have in their entirety to show you, I finished 14 project bags. Now, here's a little story for you. I came back to Australia. I had not been in a fabric shop that sold patchwork type fabric in any large quantity for 2 years because I live in a country where that's just not really a thing. It's not a very big patchworking country, and so you can buy stuff online, but to actually go into a shop, I hadn't done it for about 2 years. I came back, I was spending some time at my sister's house. She is a sewer, a knitter, a seamstress, amazing, amazing woman. And it was my birthday. I had a birthday. And for my birthday, she said, well, what do you want to do? Did I say I was staying at my sister's house? I was staying in my sister's town, not at her house. So her and my husband were both asking, what I want to do for my birthday. And I was like, look, I'd just like to go to a fabric shop and a wool shop. Because both of these I haven't really been to any real way for a long time. And so we decided we'd start at Spotlight, which is a chain store similar to Michael's or Joann's, which was the furthest away. So we're like, we'll start there and then we'll work our way back to where we live. By furthest away, it was like 10 minutes versus 5 minutes. Not a big town. And so we started there, and I was just like, this is amazing. and we spent so much time there that all we had time to do after that was grab a coffee and do some knitting in a cafe and go back home. But I had such a great time because Spotlight has licensed fabric. So not only do I not have fabric stores that I can go into, but the ones that I can buy from where I live without importing it and paying that on top of everything else tend to not have licensed prints. Well, Spotlight has, and I sat there and I looked through them, and my goodness, I got excited. And then my sister was there and was like, hey, if I'm making bags for me, would you like some? And she was like, oh yeah. So then I bought some fabric to make bags, but I only bought like licensed print or the pattern fabric parts. I didn't buy the linings and contrast things for most of them. And so then I was talking to my sister. She said, oh, just come over to my house and we'll, you can look through my stash and we can find things to go with it. And as we did that, we added more bags because she had prints that she's like, I bought this because it was cute, but I didn't know what to do with it. And we're like, we'll just make more bags. So I spent a day ironing, choosing fabrics, ironing, cutting, and she was, doing housework, looking after the kids. And then that night we went to a sewing group, her sewing group, and we started sewing up these bags. And then the next day I finished sewing them up. And my goodness, 14. So I don't have her ones. She got 6. Some of them are the same, some of them are the same print but a different size or a different makeup. But I'll show you the ones that I do have. This one I'm actually so excited about. It's an advent bag. It is Christmas, all is calm, joy to the world. Oh, so cute. So this is one of the prints that my sister already had in stash. I've got a blue down here to match kind of the blue around the edge of the pictures. My sister has one that is, I think it's more this tealy colour as her base. I love it. This is big because this is going to be our advent bags. We're both doing an advent swap this year where 5 people have dyed 25 skeins in 5 colours each. So 5 times 5. And then we're swapping. So we'll have 25 mini skeins each that will go in these bags and make into a project. I'm excited. But also, so cute. This is another one which I actually haven't used yet, and I'm a little bit shocked. Christmas avocados. This sock is also from Spotlight, as well as the little gingerbread men, and Win rainbow zip. This was on sale. It was a $2 clearance for a really good chunky with a zipper pull zip. Man, I went back and bought all the rainbow ones they had. It was great. This is another one that I made. Also dinosaurs from Spotlight, which after I made the bag, I went back and bought another ½ meter, I think, of the fabric because it was so cute. And it has all these really cute little pictures that I am going to fussy cut in my hexies, which I'm very excited about, which if I just jump over for a second, I also, when I went to a different shop, bought a 1-inch hexie template so that I can fussy cut these because it'll be much easier with a template than doing 2.5-inch squares. Very excited. I think this is the last one that I made that is not with a current project. So I'll show you this as well. Sheep in sweaters. I couldn't pass it up. I was like, I need a sweater sheep bag for when I'm making sweaters. My sister has a matching one of these as well. She also has a matching one of these, like avocados. Come on. So we're pretty set for Christmas bags. Now, if you're interested, I do have a free tutorial, no pattern needed, for how to make these. It is how to make a smaller size. That basically, yeah. I talk in the tutorial about how to change the size. This one's good because you can kind of fill it up and fold it over. You know, one that size is also a great size. It's all very flexible. But a little thing that I noticed as I was cutting these out is generally if I start with a square of fabric and then I kind of box it a little bit, it ends up in this kind of rectangular shape. And so if you know how long you want it at the top and then cut that into a square, you're pretty good that you'll get something that you like. That's in addition to what I say in the tutorial. The tutorial is linked below as well. All right, so that was a lot of finished objects. And like I said, I've still got a few more that I haven't shown you that I did make, so I'll try and remember as I go through the projects to be like, this is one of my new bags. All right, so now I'm just gonna go through in the order. I have a giant basket full of projects next to me. I'm gonna just go through and show you what I've been working on. It's been a while. So the first thing, I'm so close to finishing this sock, is another sock. Heel is done, so close. I'm actually started the toe. I don't know if you can see that it's starting to decrease. I went out for coffee yesterday and had a lovely chat with a good friend, and yeah, started the toe, put it in the car. And normally I've been actually leaving this one in the car, so it's always there when I want something quickly. But now that it's at the toe, I will actually keep it inside and finish the toe and start the second sock. This yarn is a pre-balled yarn by Lang Yarns, Super Socks. This one is colour number 901.0340, which is also called Rome. That's not going to focus. But yes, it's called Rome. My husband went to Rome earlier this year for a work thing, and when I bought this yarn just because I thought it was a great yarn to make socks for men. I mean, I would also like it, but it's kind of those more muted colours that the men that I knit for like. And then I realised that it was called Rome, and I was like, well, I'm going to make it for my husband. I also got another one at the same time called Bern, which is in Switzerland, which I have been to. So we're going to have matching strappy socks. Whether or not I get them both done in time to go in our stockings is a different matter. Yeah, so vanilla socks on Magic Loop by Cave the Crazy Sock Lady. This is also the 2.25mm, and I think next time I do this, I'll probably go back up to the 2.5. It's nice, it's just a smaller gauge and therefore just feels a little bit stiffer, and I actually like the flexibility, I think, a little bit better. So that's fine. And also, like, I've done almost 100 rows for his foot. When I'm doing the larger gauge, I only have to do about 70 rows, so they are significantly quicker, but also I'm liking the fabric better on the bigger needle, at least for this one. This next one is a new acquisition as well. I went to Makery, which is a yarn and fabric shop in Gungahlin, and I'll show you a few other things I got from there. But one thing they have is black wattle yarns, yarn, and I love it. I've knit with their yarn quite a few times. They have lots of tree-inspired colourways. I've knit them for my dad before. Anyway, my mother-in-law, I knit her some DK weight vanilla socks, also by the Crazy Sock Lady. That's a free pattern. I knit them for her 2 years ago, gave them to her for Christmas 2 years ago, and she put a hole in them the other day. And I was like, that's fine, I can just darn them, which I can, but also she wants another pair. So when I was at the shop and I saw that they had a whole range of DK weight, I said, take your pick, because, you know, why not? So I sent her a photo of the wall and she was like, how do you pick one? But she did. She picked this one. It's called Advancing Still. I don't know what that's referring to, but it is stunning. It's like a oceany teal with little bits of like sandy brown through it. I don't have my ball winder or my yarn swift with me, so this one is wound by hand. It is using a YouTube tutorial, but basically like you just wind it around your thumb, and gosh, it is so much easier than the other ways that I had been winding them by hand. does not give me any cramping in here from holding a ball because it's just sitting on my thumb. Anyway, I absolutely love it. So I came home and cast on last night, and this is what I got done. Now I don't remember what the pattern says for rows, but I did 12 rows of cuff and 30 rows of leg, and I'm just into the gusset decreases. This is size medium, 48 stitches, and I'm using 3.25mm needles. Yes? Yeah. Yeah, so really pretty. She will love them. She uses them as socks in winter, but basically as slippers year round. And I'm going to make myself another pair very soon because my feet are also freezing in this house. And yeah, so I'm going to. Black wattle, there you go, black wattle yarn and fibre. They are actually local to where I am. It's up in Murrumbeena, which is only about an hour away. They have a website, you can buy stuff on their website, but they also have a farm. So if you're anywhere nearby, you can go and do dyeing classes with them. They have alpacas that they use to make a lot of their fibre. And I don't, someone told me the other day they had a play group there, which I don't know about, but I'm totally intrigued. And they have a cafe, so you can actually go make a bit of a day trip of it if you're in the area. I have never been there, but it is on my list of places to visit. Alright, this bag is another new one. I cannot pass up Australiana fabric or anything at the moment. So pretty. Alright. This one. Oh, yeah, okay. So, we're going to have a bit of a chat. I'm just making sure I've got everything I need to talk about this. Let's have a chat. I am doing the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. I found that first week incredibly stressful. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details about it. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, move on with your life. So, I found the first week incredibly stressful. I had cast on the day one. I'd knit quite a bit by day 2, and I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Kept knitting. Day 3, I was like, oh, just don't know what to do. And so I coloured in, I played with some things, I went back and forth about what to do, and I was like, I want to keep going, I don't want to quit, but I'm just feeling block. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to knit too. Because when I was pulling yarn for this, I actually pulled, I mean, these are bags, not yarn, but I actually pulled 2 different sets. And so I'd already cast on with one set, and I was like, I'll just knit one the way that it was written before all the changes, and then I'll knit one a different way. And I was like, cool, that's fine. But then I forgot that I would be knitting the entire scarf twice. And so, or the entire shawl twice. And so as I've kept going, I'm like, I really don't want to do this again. So I'm going to show you what I've done, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. This is the second one that I started. So this is Clue 1 as is written in the current pattern. And it's, you know, on small needles, so you're not going to be able to see it great. The difference that I did make with this one is that I have 6 colours, not 5. And so I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I was only going to have 2 lots of the repeat and the gradient. And I actually really like how this looks. And for Clue 1 and 2, I was really excited. But when I got to Clue 3, I was like, I'm not going to knit this twice. I know I'm not going to knit this twice. I don't know why I'm thinking about knitting this twice. And so this, unfortunately, I think is just going to be scrapped. I did, however, buy the Aurora Cabin Shawl in Stephen West's birthday sale. Happy birthday, Stephen. And so I think I will use this to make that shawl. So it's still going to be a Stephen West shawl. It's still going to be lots of beautiful colour play. But I'm not going to knit this shawl, the Mystery Knit Along, the Geo Gradient twice. Not going to happen. So I'm just going to, you know, put that down to the side. Now, back to the one where I started knitting it. I also wasn't comfortable continuing with the one that Stephen had pulled off. He was like, I don't want to have anything to do with this pattern. So if you're participating, that's fine, but don't put photos in Ravelry and things like that. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that. But I had a chat, I talked to a few different people, I looked at what some different people were doing, and I decided that I would actually do an unpublished pattern for the center square, and then I would do the rest as is in Stephen's Geo gradient. So I'm going to show you what I've got. There's no allusion to the symbol that was so offensive, or that is so offensive, that people saw in it. But the center square, it's unpublished. You cannot get it. So there you go. So this is my shawl so far. And spoilers, the whole clue is out now. I don't know where people are up to, but I'm still on clue 3. So spoilers. So actually let's work backwards. This is clue 3 so far. These are my colors. I love these colors. I am using Knitting for Olive. I have 4 colors of hers. 2 are pure silk, so the dark purple and the beige are pure silk, and then the brown and the light pink are cotton merino. So I'm using a bit of both, and it just worked really well that the color gradient meant that I had silk, cotton merino, which I think is helping with the drape and everything, especially in this one because all the silk had the eyelet rose. Getting ahead of myself. So this is clue 3. I have a lot to go. This is the first one, and it's meant to go until it's decreased to a point. Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm not doing this a whole second time. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so effective. But by the time I've done 2 of these for one shawl, I'm not doing it on a second shawl. I know myself. It would sit there for years. So I'm just not. Then you have clue 2, which is this stripy eyelet row, which goes on 2 sides of the center square. And then it has a straight part here and then continues again on the other side. But this side is still on, I can't think of the word, that stuff, tubing. So it's gonna bunch up and you won't see it beautifully. And then the center square, but this center square is unpublished. You cannot find it anywhere. So if you like it, sorry, but this is my center square. Yeah, I'm pulling. And you can see these beautiful, are they back to the front? No. You can see these beautiful 4s on here, which I just love because my son is 4. And so it just seems really appropriate. Yeah, so this is my shawl so far. Yeah, so like I said, I don't want to get into the drama. This is something that I have settled within myself that I'm really happy with. Yeah, not doing the pattern as written, doing an unpublished pattern in the center. Yeah, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And like I said, I love that it just turned into 4s because, yeah, it just suits where I'm at with my life right now. And I love the colors and everything. I really did want to then make one exactly as Stephen had written the pattern as it is now published. But like I said, when I got to clue 3, I was like, I don't want to do this again. I looked back at the last couple of shawls that I've done. Shawlography, I love. I wear it all the time. I loved knitting it. And if I was doing that on a second time, I think I would be okay because it has enough interest and you just kind of do the whole thing once. Because it's like a semicircular design. Yeah, clue 3, when I got to it, I was like, man, I love the effect, but it's not the most relaxing thing to knit. And yeah, no. So that's where I'm at. And to be honest, even with what I have done and what like clue 3 that I'm up to on the one shawl, I'm about to hit Christmas gift knitting and stuff in a big way. I have some bigger projects that I'm trying to pump out, just as something that I'm knitting for someone, which I'll get to in a second, as well as some Christmas presents, some stocking fillers, a birthday present. Someone mentioned the other day that he'd really like a jumper that I made for my son, but in his size, a fully grown adult man, and I was like, that's going to take a little longer. Anyway, but that birthday is in February, so I'm like starting to think ahead to all those things and being like, well, actually, maybe it's time to sit down and go through all of the things that I have been working on and pick a couple to prioritize. Not going to do that in this episode, but I will do that And maybe even I'll record a special like Christmas gift knitting episode where I can say to my family, don't watch this. A lot of my family watch my podcast. It's really difficult at times. All right, this is another bag that I made recently, also from Spotlight the Fabric. I just love it. I love it because it's Star Wars, I love it because it's cute, and I love it because it's the alphabet. Actually, funny story, I showed this to my husband who also likes Star Wars. He's like, oh, what did they get for X? X-Wing. He was like, oh yeah, probably should have figured that one out. Anyway, so that is the bag. And here is the project. Now, there is not much to show of this. This one I have shown you before. And I don't think I've shown you, no. Okay, so this is the Tessellated Vest by Andrea Mary. I have done, in fact, that side's not even going to be good to show you. No, don't do that. I don't have needle stoppers. I need to get needle stoppers. That much of the colour work. Very, very little. But I have finished the ribbing. And I finished the ribbing twice. This is a vest for my dad. What did I do? I took his measurements, I figured out the pattern size that I needed, I gauge swatched, I picked my gauge, I started knitting, and I was like, this just seems like it might be too big, and I blocked it and it grew another 2.5 inches. I was like, this is definitely too big. So I checked my gauge after blocking, did the maths to figure out what size I needed, went down 2 needle sizes, frogged the whole thing and recast on. Am I sad about it? A little bit. I'd done 4 inches of colour work, it looked really pretty. But on the other hand, overall, it's less stitches because I'm going down 2 needle sizes, and I changed the ribbing from 1x1, which is in the pattern, to 2x2. I did this for 2 reasons. One, I hate knitting 1x1 rib, and I knew it, and I was like, no, I'll do it just this once, and I'm like, no, I'm done. 2, I actually really like the look of the 2x2 ribbing, and because it's a 2x2 check pattern, it actually works well. I think the only thing is that first row is going to cinch in a little bit, which maybe is why Andrea picked 1x1, but it's not going to bother me, and it's not going to bother my dad, who this is for. And number 2, because it's for my dad and just his body shape, the 2x2 ribbing will actually work better because it will cinch in a little bit, and he wants it for warmth. I mean, he'll like it, it will look good on him, it will suit him, but he wants it for warmth. And so having it cinch in around his hips, I think is where it's going to fall, will actually provide that warmth that he wants. So 2x2 ribbing it is, and it meant that this part went much quicker the second time. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting into the colour work in this again, and this is one of the ones that will be moving into priority spot because I really want to have it done for him. I was going to say when I see him next, but I'm going to see him next in about a month. Maybe it'll have to wait until Christmas. We'll see how quickly I can knit. Tessellated Vest by Andrea Mary. I am using yarn. I am using this one. Yep, this. It's by Dye, a Polish yarn dye. It's called Into the Woods, and it's 60% Seaportia Merino, 20% silk, 20% yak. Absolutely beautiful. I'm also using this one, which is called Delia. This is, instead of using, was it Odang? Instead of using the alpaca, I think it was in the original, I'm using this one, which is snowbound, and it is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. So it is, like you can see, a little bit of the halo here. There you go, a little bit of the halo. It is so soft, and it is going to kind of puff up a little bit, but not too much. And then the hand dyed. This is one that not hand dyed, hand spun. This is a scrappy bat that I got from Fibre Art Shed, and yeah, hand spun from a scrappy bat. 100% merino, I believe. Absolutely love it. This is one of my first spins. I think it was my second complete spin. I did 110. Yeah, I did one 100 gram bat, and this was my second 100 gram bat. And I absolutely love it. And from this came the decision to make this vest. I don't know if there's anything else to say. Oh, I am using, I'll tell you needle size. I don't know what the pattern calls for, but I'm using 3.75 needles for this. So I would have done 3.25 for the ribbing. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It is a mosaic pattern. In fact, let me see if I have an easy to find photo. Here we go. So it's a beautiful kind of houndstooth almost pattern, but it's done with mosaic knitting, and I'm really, like, I love it. It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous with the handspun and the colours. I just need to get back to it. I've been, like, the mystery knit along has been my primary knitting for a while. Okay, we're getting close to the bottom of my basket. This is another bag I made. This is Baby Groot. Like, how cute is Baby Groot? So cute. This one is actually getting a little full. Let's see how it's going. Ooh. Ah, yes. Okay. So this is my granny wrap. I've made just a bit of progress since I last showed you. I really, really love this one. So let's talk yarns first. I don't have any scrappy leftover bits of any of them, because what I'm doing is I'm putting a square in my Cozy Memories blanket first and then knitting until it's gone. Changing at the end of a row, but crocheting until it's gone. This middle one is called Poland. It is one, I think we called it Poland. It's based on the town square in Rzeszów, and it's one that my friend and I dyed together when she came to visit me. And I just love how that's crocheted up. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of it knitted up, but the pulling that is happening with it crocheting is just stunning. Then we have this one, which was Endurance by 3 Tree Fibre Craft. I had knit, did I knit socks in that one? I may not have. I took 20 grams out for a scrappy advent calendar I put together for my sister. I thought I knit socks in it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I ended up just bringing it into this. So maybe I didn't. So yeah, Endurance. And then this one here, I can't actually remember how to say the name, but it is by Martin's Lab, which is another Polish designer, Polish dyer. And then this one on the end is another one that I dyed. And so the plan is, basically, I started with the pale and did a bit of a fade, and now I'm switching to greens, and I'll do a bit of a fade in greens. However, let me get out what I got. These are the 3 greens I have. So this one I dyed. It's called Cattle Station, based on a place I used to live. I should tell you, I don't sell my dyeing. I just dye for fun, give it away, swap, but I don't sell it. So if you like it, thanks. Yeah. This one is Sophie by Fibre Lily. I really, really love the softness of this. This came in a 250 gram pack with Bee's Knees, which is like a mustardy gold. But I've decided rather than putting them together, I'm bringing it into here. And then this one is Sea Turtle Reef by Maximu Yarns. I have knit socks in this. I love this yarn, and these are my scraps. So 100 gram, 50 gram, I don't know, 30 maybe, scrap them out. And I was planning to do brightest first. And so I started the brightest here, and it was quite a big contrast. And because it's a bit more of a fadey shawl, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go the deeper one first, the more pale one that will kind of blend a bit more. But now I'm looking at it being like, actually, maybe I do want the brightness, and I've got like the pale to deep, and then I can do like the contrast. Is this gonna stay? 1, 2, and then go into the deeper one. And then I have another skein which is like a teal. Yeah. There we go. So I can do that. I could even switch that around and do that. I don't know. But then I have a teal, so I'm like, I'd rather end on the deep teal than end on like a really washed out thing. Which is probably why this is sitting and not being worked on for a couple of weeks. Also, I've had other things to work on, but yeah. So this is where it's at. It's lovely. I'm crocheting over the ends, so I don't have a whole lot to do in terms of actually wearing it as a shawl. It's not really long enough yet, but when it is, it will be so cozy. Pretty excited. And then obviously I could wear it this way, which it is much closer to actually. To be fair, I would just wear it like that. Maybe instead of doing a big one, I just need to stop and have a more neutral coloured one. I'm really tempted actually to have this as a scarf rather than a shawl. Take the green off and just call it good. What do you think? Tell me in some comments, because I hate this when I come in here and I show you something, I'm like, actually I really just like that as it is. Although I will say this one is not the softest yarn, so having it around my neck like that, will I get annoyed? I don't know. Anyway, so this is where I'm at with this one. I should also mention the jumper I'm wearing, the top I'm wearing, is the Comfy and Cozy pullover, or Cozy Comfy, Comfy Cozy, by Renya of Comfort Zone Knits. So I'll just give you a little bit of a stand up and show you that one while I'm thinking of it. In the pattern, she does stripes that are different to what I did. I used what I had, and so I just changed the stripes to suit what I had. When I first wore this, I said, I'm really not sure if I like it. I'm like a bit, nah. Anyway, the more I wear it, the more I love it. It is now, I think like the weather is good for it. It's meshing, melding to my body shape. I don't know if you've noticed this before, but the more that you wear something, the more it fits you. Which seems strange, but it's just how it works. It kind of just, yeah, the drape gets better when you wash it. I don't know, I love it. So I wear this quite a lot now. My one thing, I think I said this on my last episode, that I was like, I'll take it to Australia on this trip so that I can, pull out the bottom and shorten it and make it a crop. I'm not going to do that. I actually really like it the way that it is. I've been wearing it a lot since I got here. And I think it's because it's that more kind of not super hot days, but not super cold days. And so this kind of thing just works really well. And I've been wearing it over dresses, and I'm not worried that it's not crop. I am considering making a second one that is crop. So I have the option for the extra warmth down around my waist, or just kind of the warmth around my arms and shoulder. Yeah, but I really like it. So whatever I said before, scrap that. It's great. I'm happy with my yarn choice, my colours. The stripes are still a little bit of a weird placement. Like it is kind of just, I think a little bit lower would have been more flattering, but I don't care. I wear it. I love it. Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this before. Anything, shops, projects, yarns, whatever it is, I will link below. So if you're like, oh, I really liked that yarn, where do you get it? It'll be either linked in my Ravelry page for that particular yarn, or the shops that I mentioned will just be linked below. And anything that has a Ravelry page, those pages will be linked below as well. So yeah, no stress there. This is, I think, the final bag that I made. This is another one that was added from my sister's, which she had bought the fabric to make a quilt for her daughter and bought extra to make me a project bag because I love tulips. But I was like, I'll just chuck it to the stack. So we just made it together. Oh, and this one has a little notions pouch in it, which I also made, but this one I made a while ago. What have I got in here? This is my Cozy Memories blanket. So this is where I'm up to. I don't entirely remember where I was last time, but I've got a lot more stitch markers on. So I have finished this one, which is one that I used in my anthology through. This one is by Dying Dream of Canberra, where I am now. This one is one that I made. I dyed this one and I made some Veronica socks out of. This one is Poland that I just showed you. This one is Endurance that I just showed you. And this one is an ice dyed sock blank that I dyed a while ago. This one is Sea Turtle Reef by Maximo Yarns that I just showed you. This one is What Mustard Made, which I think is a UK dyer. Anyway, I made socks out of this a long time ago and I love it, and I have 2 more skeins which will make an appearance at some point. Then we have this one, which is, oh, there's 2 that it could be. I want to say it's 3 Tree Fibercraft, and it's not Remnants, maybe Remnants. I used it in my anthology throw, but I am planning to knit some socks out of it, so you'll see that again soon. This one, I believe, is one that my sister made for my aunt, gave me scraps. I used it in my anthology throw, and I had enough to do a square here. It's Sally Ridgway though, which is a Tasmanian Australia dyer. And then this one is the Martin's Lab one that I showed you just before. This one is called Tiger King by Maximo Yarns, also used in my anthology throw. This one, I want to say my son dyed this one with food dye, and I used it in my anthology through. Yeah, because my daughter dyed this one. They're very similar, but my son used red and my daughter used pink, and they dyed up differently. So yeah, this is the Cozy Memory Blanket, Coziest Memories Blanket by Kemperay, except that I started with a square in the center, did a bigger square, and now they're all radiating out from that square. I don't know how well you'll see that on the camera, but yeah, so I'm really excited. I've just started another round. I am generally tying in ends as I go, whether it's the Weave and Steven or just holding the tail over as I knit. Yeah, this is a long-term project. And in here I have a whole bunch of scraps to add into it. I'm only doing scraps of things that I've actually finished, or like that I've used in another project. So everything in this blanket is a memory, and I really, really like that. But yeah, I have a lot that I can work on when I want to work on this. When I work on it, I usually just kind of have a week of being like, I really want to knit the Cozy Memories blanket, and I'll just knit. It's great. Alright, what else do I have? Oh, I didn't mention, which one was it? This one, the Black Wattle yarn. So let me show you. This one here, that I just started yesterday, I saw it was DK. I don't know if I saw that it was sock yarn or not, but I just went, oh, I'll just take a photo. But what I realized later, it was, I think, all the DK yarn on one wall. So I don't know if it was all the same base or not, but I got in the car after buying it and I went, oh no, did I just buy mum like 100% wool yarn that I can't use? No. It is Blue Gum 8 ply and it is 55% superwashed blue face Leicester and 45% silk. I saw the silk first and went, okay, silk is really strong. I don't know if that works instead of nylon for socks, but I'm willing to give it a go. And then I saw it was BFL, blue face Leicester, and I was like, that's fine. That is a quite strong yarn. I've done socks before that's just BFL, just blue face Leicester. So having blue faced Leicester and silk together, I'm not worried about the socks. But I'll see if they last for 2 years like the other one did. Okay, there is another project which is not knitting that I've been working on. This one is pretty exciting. Now, I did share this a little bit ago, but I've made some progress. So I'll show you the big quilt. So this is a pattern by Jemima's Creative Quilting, I believe. She did it as a free mystery quilt along, I want to say 2020, actually no, 2021 this one would have been. And she's done one 2022 and 2023 as well. 2023 I think is current or just finished. But I'm still working on the 2021 one. And I started this when my daughter was, I think before she was born, and worked on it quite a bit in those early days of her life, or of her being born. I've just added these little triangle, for want of a better word, things. And I have, over the side, I have 1, 2, 3 more to add. They're all sewn, I just haven't sewn the one yet. So this was something that I was just working on the other day while my husband and I watched TV. But then I showed you these a little bit. These ones go in here. Can I get a second one? Like that. So this is going to be surrounded by hexie flowers up the top. So it's just got 8 hexie flowers, I believe, that will go over 8, 12 hexie flowers that go around. I've almost finished making the hexie flowers. I have 4 red. See, now I'm just getting confused. No, I think I've got 6 red, 3 yellow, 3 orange. So I'm pretty excited to get these sewn on, and then I can move on to the next round. I don't know what colours I'm going to do for the next round, but it is exciting to finally be making some progress on this again. And classic me, in getting this out to show you, I dropped my little box that has them in. So this is the one that I'm currently working on, and now all of the hexies are scattered. I had previously been very specific on making sure none of them were too close to each other, that they were kind of, you know, spread out evenly around the flower. I'm not going to worry about that again. I'm just going to start knitting and make sure I don't put any two of the same next to each other. I said knitting, sewing. And there is one more project which I really debated whether or not I should show you, because, yeah, but I decided, you know what, this is about what I've been making. This is something I've been making, and even though it's not to the level that I usually make things, I'm going to show you, and then I genuinely don't know whether I'm going to finish this as it is or pull it all out and start again. But let's show you what it is. This is what it is. It is a needle punch kit. I bought it from Kmart Australia of a kookaburra. Very cute. I went to Kmart. I've got a few other things to show you from there, and it just had this little needle punch kit, all the thread you need, a pattern, and a pre-printed canvas. Now this is what I've done. Now, you may think I'm overly fussy at this point, but let me just tell you, it's not as obviously problematic in the picture as it is in person. Like I can see stitches that have come out. I can see like a lot of bits that are like 2 stitches are actually what should be 2 stitches is 1. I've got just a little bit of loose thread. Like I can see a lot of imperfections in this. And that's the back side. I don't know if that's going to help you see, but yeah, it's not the level that I normally do things to. But also it's not something I normally do. And to be honest, I didn't find it overly enjoyable. Now, I don't know if that's because it wasn't working out as prettily as I was imagining, or if just the effort to actually punch through the canvas was more than I was thinking, or just it was something new. I'm not sure. I've only worked on this, I think, for a couple of nights, and then I put it away. So I will get it out and try again and see if I like it any better. I think part of it is when I do make a mistake, I kind of have to fix it straight away, or I can't fix it. And that I find frustrating. Yeah, so I think at the moment I'll probably fix it, and I may or may not put it on, fix it. I'll just keep going. I may or may not put it on my wall when it's done. But I don't think, I don't know, it's one of those things. I will get better as I do it more, but I'm not going to do it a huge amount, so I don't know how much better I'm going to get. Yeah, anyway, so I will keep going with my kookaburra. I will show you probably just when it's finished, not just as I go, because I'm not going to work on it a huge amount. But yeah, I'm liking everything Australiana at the moment, and that's something Australiana that I saw, and I've wanted to try it, and I can now confidently say, not my cup of tea. But having said that, there are things that I haven't liked before that when I come back to after a bit of a break, I'm like, hey, actually this is great. So maybe it's just about expectations. I'll let you know how I go. Alright, so that is all of the stuff that I've been working on. I told you, it's a lot. I have also been working on, I bought a fleece. If you're a fibre prepper, you'll know more about this than I will. I bought a fleece. I've tried washing the fleece. I don't know. I don't know if it's any good or not. I bought it online. It wasn't quite what I expected, but also I didn't know what I was doing, so I was like, well, not being what I expected is fine. I've washed it. I'm not happy with how it's washed, both in a, like there's just so much vegetable matter in here that I didn't take out before I washed. I have no idea what carding will do because I've never carded or combed a fleece before. So I'm just hoping that as I card I can get that out a bit easier. But also like the tips aren't necessarily clean. Some of it still has like dirt and stuff in it. And so I feel like I need to go back and do it properly. But like it's such a tight curl that the dirt just stays in there until it's like actually pulled out. And so I don't know whether I need to do something else. But you're not allowed to actually agitate wool or like scrub it while it's hot because it will felt. So all these things that I'm just like, I just don't know what I'm doing. Like even as I'm sitting here, I'm pulling out giant things. Anyway, so it's all a bit of an experiment. But I did see yesterday something about cold washing and how to do a cold wash on a fleece to get all the dirt and stuff out. Not the vegetable matter, but the dirt and a lot of the lanolin. So I will do that. I'm going to give it a go. I have more of this. I'm going to try and card this up today and see kind of what quality it is. I have just some hand carders that I'll be borrowing to try that. And then, like dirt and all, I'm not going to rewash this bit. I don't think it's worth it. But then I'll get another bit off the fleece and, yeah, see how it goes. But I just wanted to let you know this is, I think the sheep's name is Pearl. This is just a tiny bit of Pearl's fleece that I bought from a place in Australia. And like if it turns out to be great and I love it, then I'll absolutely let you know where it's from. But yeah, this is a little bit of Pearl's fleece and something that I've just been dabbling in. I really, like I have 3 kilos of it, so I really hope I can figure out how to wash it so that I can use it because that's a lot of jumpers right there. And I also just have a few other things that I have bought since I last spoke to you. So I'm going to go through that quickly. the first one is I got some more silicone cord for like leaving stitches on and stuff. I got it from Temu. Haven't tried it yet, but it was like $4. So, and there's 2.2 meters maybe. I don't know. It's a fair bit. Haven't tried it yet. If I like it, and yeah, then I'll let you know. But I got that. I did get another couple of kits. So this cross stitch one is from the Reject Shop in Australia. So cute hedgehog. And again with the Australiana, this is an embroidery kit. It's an Australian, well, they're all Australian flower wattle. These are gum nuts in bloom. And I want to say Waratah. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's a Waratah. I got this one, which is not Australia specific, but I just thought that would be really cute on my wall. And this is, I want to say it's another Waratah. This is a cross stitch. Yeah, a cross stitch wall hanging. So it actually comes with like the wood to hang it on and everything. So I'll do that. I'm actually, now that I'm looking at it, being like, maybe I'll change the shape of the vase, because the vase looks like it would be really boring to cross stitch. We'll see. And then from my trip to Makery, these are actually early Christmas present seasons, but I'm so excited. So Makery, I said before, it's a wool and fabric shop. They actually have two stores, like one storefront next to each other, away from each other. So you've got a fabric shop, a salon hair shop, and then the wool shop. And so it's all on one little strip. And the wool shop also has like a workshop space where they do things. And I went in there and so many designs and patterns and fabrics, and it was a little overwhelming. But then I saw this. And it is a rotating cutting mat, and it is something that I've been wanting for a long time now. I was looking it up a couple of months ago trying to figure out what the best price was, and it was actually a really good price at this shop, which is just almost unheard of. Like online is often cheaper. But yeah, this was just a local shop that had really, really great prices. So I got it from there. I love supporting local, and I love supporting local when it's also not significantly more expensive for me. But yeah, it's a Sue Daily rotating cutting mat. I got the one that has the grid marks just in case I ever actually want to use it for measuring or lining things up. But also it's for like using this so I can fussy cut really easily. And I also got a wool ironing mat. So this is a quite thick wool mat that you can iron on. It absorbs the heat. It also pushes the heat back, so you get quite a hot steam iron. I've heard they're really, really brilliant, but I've never had one. And I love this because it's a good size. Like these are basically the same size, which means when I'm traveling, I can just chuck this into anything, and I have an ironing mat and a cutting board. I did have a little book that opened up that had, like, if it was open, it was an ironing mat, then it had a cutting board and a tracing paper side. And I used to use that when I was traveling, and when I moved to Europe, I gave it to my sister, and I was like, I'll just buy another one over there. And would you believe it? I couldn't find it. And I was like, I'll just make one. It'll be fine. And I bought a piece of sandpaper, and that's as far as I got. No, actually, I also bought an A4 cutting mat, but yeah, that was as far as I got. And when I saw this, I was like, you know what? I don't need a book. These two is perfect. It's even better than what I had before. I never use the tracing paper, and if I do need to use the tracing paper, I'll just use a piece of sandpaper. That's fine. Everything I need right here in things that I've been actually desiring for years. So excited. So that is part of my Christmas present. Very excited. Although I haven't been told if I have to wait until Christmas to use them. I hope not. Okay, I think that's everything. Everything I've bought, everything I've made, created. Yeah, so I'm going to talk just a little bit more about life stuff If you're just here for the making, thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. If you want to hear a little bit more about life and what's been going on, stick around. Yeah, so I said before, we've just come back to Australia. We're just visiting. We're not staying forever, but we're visiting Australia and having a chance to see friends and family. And yeah, it's really, really lovely to be around people. It's a lot of culture shock, a lot of processing. Things have changed. Some things have not changed. Zechariah is going to preschool, which is amazing. He goes really close to where we live. He's loving it. Yeah, a lot of the drama that had happened around preschool in Poland, we think, was largely around language and culture shock, and just being 4. But he's loving it now, which is a huge relief. We've also been able to access some of the health systems in Australia to get some help, particularly for Zech, that we've been needing. Yeah, which has been really, really lovely. We're still waiting for governments to process things, and people are going on strike, and that's unhelpful. But still, it is so much easier to get access to things in this country because we speak the language. We know where things are, we know how to talk to people. If someone says, sorry, you can't do this, we can say, oh, okay, what about that? Where when you're living in a culture and in a language that is not your own, that you don't know very well, it's really hard to do those things. And so, yeah, we're like, well, we're here and we have the ability to do that, we're going to do that. And it's working well. When we first arrived, we spent a couple of weeks with my sister. She lives in Orange, and like in Orange, not at her house. But it was really nice to be able to do some crafty things with her. Like I said, I went to her craft group twice. It was great. We went shopping, we did sewing at home, knitting in cafes. We looked, like, she has kids too, so we did stuff with kids. Yeah, it was just really lovely to spend some time with her after not seeing her for so long. And then we went and had a cuppa with Jodie of Tales of Cloth. So Jodie, if you haven't seen her stuff, Tales of Cloth, she does amazing paper pieces. So in fact, all of these paper pieces that I'm using are Jodie's, like, bought from her shop. She does recycled paper card papers. A lot of these fabrics I bought in a scrap pack from her back in the day. Oh, actually, a lot of the orange ones, orange and yellow, because I don't tend to buy those colours, a lot of these came from a 2.5-inch scrap pack that I bought from her a couple of years ago. Anyway, I noticed that she'd moved to near where my sister lived, and I was like, hey, bit weird, but I'm going to be in the area. I love your stuff. I'd love to catch up with you if you're up for a crafting, whatever, afternoon, morning, whatever it could be. She's like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And she's actually lived in Poland in her life, and so we had that connection as well. And then we weren't sure it was going to happen because of illness and away in the timing of when we were leaving, but it ended up that we stayed a day extra on what we were expecting because of logistics, and everyone was better, and we were like, hey, let's just catch up for a cuppa. So we caught up for a cuppa, and my sister came, and it was delightful. Jodie is such a lovely woman. I love her quilts, I love her newsletter. Like, hers is a newsletter that I will actually read every time she sends it. I just so enjoy listening to her thought process and the way that she does things. So yeah, a little spotlight on Jodie. If you don't know Tales of Cloth, if you're interested in EPP or just the creative process, I highly recommend you go sign up for her newsletter. It's kind of like a weekly blog that gets sent to your email. It's lovely. With always beautiful pictures. Love her quilts. Yeah, so that was a real highlight of that couple of weeks as well, is getting to meet Jodie, have a couple with her, with my sister as well. It was really, really lovely. Now we're at our temporary home in Canberra, where I said we're visiting family. We're actually living with a lot of the family. So there are 9 people who live in this house. No, 8 people who live in this house currently, or are staying in this house. 3 in the next house who are also family members, and 1 more down the street. So often for dinners we will have 12 people almost every night. It's a little bit hectic, a little bit chaotic, but it's really lovely. And the kids are absolutely loving being near family. They've really settled down since, so if you don't know, I had surgery a few months ago and it was quite hairy, and since then they've been quite clingy, and we also were in the process of coming to Australia for a visit and different things, and so just a lot of change, a lot of culture stress, a lot of general stress in their lives, and they were just like, I need mum, I can't go anywhere without mum, mum can't go anywhere without me. And now that we're here, and they just have so many adults to love on them and dote on them, and they're like, cool, I'm happy, bye mum, you can go out and have a coffee and that's fine. I'm like, oh, how lovely. So it's been really nice. They really are bonding with all of these people that they haven't seen for a couple of years. Ilsa has no memory of actually being with them because she was only 4 months when we moved to Poland, and so yeah, this is really for her the first time that she's meeting and getting to know all these people, and she loves them. And it is just so, so good for my mama's heart to see the kids just embracing family this way. Yeah, so it's really, really, really nice. We do miss our pup, our dog in Poland. So glad that our friends are house sitting and looking after our dog. I miss her. Yeah, that's probably about it. I will not guarantee that there will be any kind of regular podcast at the moment because things are crazy. We are traveling around, we are doing things, but I would like to not have another 2 months. And I am also hoping to do Vlogmas this year. Just a little something about our life, our day-to-day things here in December, because I really, really want that contrast of a 1-year-old and 3-year-old in Poland and a 2-year-old and 4-year-old in Australia, and the differences in Christmas and life that brings, because we had a lot of snow, we had sledding last year, and that's not going to happen this year. So I am hoping to do Vlogmas, but it also depends on just how long it takes to edit and all those things, because yeah, it is a different situation that I'm in right now. So I am planning to do Vlogmas. I am hoping to do a this is what I'm working on for Christmas episode, but I have to figure out how to do that in a way that doesn't say, hey, this is what I'm making for everyone, so that everyone knows what they're getting. And also there are some things for myself that I will keep making, and so maybe I'll do like a Christmas gifts plus what I'm prioritizing in December video. But I'll put it out in November, so I'm not doing it at the same time as Vlogmas. What do you think? Would you be interested in something like that? Because I'm interested in talking about that, but would you be interested in watching it? Let me know. Otherwise, yeah, this is, I didn't even tell you the date. It is October 28th, and it is now 12:46 in the afternoon. Just so that if you're not watching this in 2023 and you're coming back in future years, you know about the time that I'm talking to you. Okay, I'm just going crazy now. I will talk to you again soon. Happy knitting, happy making. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Like and subscribe if you haven't already and you liked this video. Yeah, I will see you again in the not too distant future. Bye guys.